Hey, I'm Orlando Jones, and I just want you to know that the Moana Nui Podcast will be starting soon. Stay tuned, yo.
I'm Veronica Taylor. I'm from myself and Ash Ketchum. I just want to say, Moana Nui, I choose you!
Aloha mai kako, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Moana Nui Podcast here on the Agents of Geekdom. My name's Moana, and I am the host and founder of the show. I'm also a children's book author representing Native Hawaiian communities and a publisher for the Wildcard Chronicles here at Burning Spear Comics. And champion and advocate for our Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander communities, as well as our BIPOC cousins in the other communities. So welcome to the show. Tonight I have a special guest, and you guys are going to get a preview. We're going to talk a little bit about his upcoming project and some of the work that he has done across a number of different areas. His name is Greg Burnham. He is a longtime friend of the show, and we're excited to have him back. For those of you who maybe haven't watched his episodes or have not met him yet, Greg is a writer based in Norcross, Georgia. He is an Air Force child. He lived in several places all over the world before finally settling in Louisiana. He's attended Grambling State University. And after establishing a full-time career for himself in finance, he decided to pursue writing. If you do know him, you'll know that he is part of the dynamic duo that is the creators of Tuskegee Heirs. He and Marcus Williams teamed up to produce two children's books in their earlier stages called Broken Glass and Grandpa's Shoes. And then in 2016, they decided to get back into comics. And as I mentioned, they started the very successful sci-fi action adventure, Tuskegee Heirs. Since then, Greg has created another comic book series, The Search for Sadiqah, which I'm a really big fan of. He is currently working on a number of his other creator-owned projects. He was also a member of the relaunch of Milestone Comics and the Milestone Initiative over with DC Comics, who honored the creators of Milestone by continuing their mission and working with a wonderful, talented group of creators during that time. So tonight we are going to bring Greg on to talk about Ousley, his newest project. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Correct me when you come on. So yeah, let's have him join us. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. Coming off of this brutal cold that I had, but I'm alive.
That's good. That's good. We're glad that you're feeling better for sure. So yeah, I really excited to talk about your new project. I love talking about all your projects, but just in case for those who are listening and tuning in and who maybe haven't met you before, tell folks a little bit about how you got started with writing and like what kind of inspired you to do that.
Oh man, you did so much. You said so many good things. I think like just writing, it goes all the way back. I tell this story all the time, but when I was in the second grade, I got this Empire Strikes Back novel at the book fair, and it was like supposed to be like too advanced for me or whatever. And so they're like, "Oh no, that's kind of advanced." I'm like, man, whatever. So I bought it. I took the family dictionary. We're living in Idaho. It's crazy. And I had the family dictionary, and I just read the whole book. And it was like it was sparking my imagination like in these ways that I had never really seen before. But I could see everything. And this is a long time ago, so and we're like in the middle of nowhere, so we're not even, I think we're like an hour away from any movie theater. So it was like we had to read books to, know what the movie was. And so I think after that, second grade, I always liked to write. I just didn't have any not mad at anybody, but there wasn't anybody that was letting me know that this is something that you could do like full time. There's something that somebody that looks like me could do. Like, I didn't know any of that stuff. Like, every once in a while we'd have like a writer come to, school and talk, but they were always like an older, like Caucasian person with a cardigan. And I'm just like, all right, man, I'm gonna go ahead and play this basketball or do this, do that, because I didn't see it. So I think it went all the way till I was in college, where I had like a professor that was she would go crazy over like the essays that I was writing. And I thought she was just trying to like gas me up, like, you're such a good writer, you could do this professionally. I'm like, yeah, whatever, lady. But I think she was the person that like actually was able to like kind of critique and break down what I was doing and what she thought was good about it. So after that, I started, playing around. I moved to Atlanta. I was looking for somebody to draw this comic idea that I had. I think you've seen this before. This old rusty, dusty.
Yes.
Yes. I keep this on hand.
That's right.
And I met Marcus. My friend introduced me because I was looking for somebody to draw this. And so, yeah, that's how it all started. Of course, we didn't know what we were doing comic book, like the industry wise. So we were selling copies, but we were like losing money because we were printing them ourselves at Kinko's. It was just a lot, but we learned a lot. We learned enough to be like, yo, we're selling, but we're losing money. So we need to stop this and figure out the business.
Right. How to do it better. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's like a piece of history right there. The old staple joint. You need to put it like in a frame, because what if?
So my uncle sent me a picture recently. He still has one, and he's got it. It looks good. Like, the quality's good. I'm like, nice. This one, man, I think I confiscated this from one of my kids. I found it, and I was like, yo, what's this? And he was like, you can't have it. And I was like, too bad. I'm taking it. And then I took it.
I find it's, I don't know, like when you find the first work that you ever did, it's like, oh, look at me. Like when I first.
You know what? I always say this, man. Like, sometimes if you don't know anything, you can kind of produce something cool. Sometimes you probably can't. But when I go back and look at it, and this is me being, one of my harshest critics, it's not terrible. There's a couple of jokes that, like there's a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon joke. Like, it probably doesn't hold up because, it's so old. But I mean, for the most part, like, it's funny. I still laugh at it. It's stupid, but it's, supposed to be.
Right.
Like, we didn't do that bad. Marcus is like, oh, I don't want anybody to see because of the art. But I'm like, dude, this art is better than a lot of people's art today, man.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say.
I want to reprint them.
You should.
Or hire somebody to like do the art and then keep it going.
I think you should reprint the original, like on a limited type of joint. I think that would be cool.
I just gotta go back in here and look and make sure there's nothing that'll get us canceled.
It's true. It is
So you used to be able to say stuff you can't say.
a different time. Yeah. Maybe like a stretch goal on like some other Kickstarter, like we're only gonna print 20 or something like that.
Yeah. We had to get it format because it's clearly not
Right.
regular comic book size. But yeah, I'm gonna go in, see if like I said, see if there's anything that could get us canceled. I think Marcus still has the file, like the old PSDs, so we can edit it if we need to.
So with all of that, like that being your first experience, like what advice would you give to someone who is thinking about getting into comics and doesn't know where to start, or like is not even sure if they should pursue this or how to go about it?
I think the first thing I would say is if you're trying to do a money grab, pick another sport. Like if you're trying to like make something and just expect for it just to blow and go crazy, pick another sport. Because if you don't love like the amount, I was talking to somebody recently, the amount of work, the time, the money, the effort that you put in to doing comics, if you don't really like love them, then if you're not a success right away, you're not going to keep doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So like that part. But then also the other part is get an understanding of the business, how stuff works, how in what ways can you make money, in what ways can you save money, and then the last thing, and this is what I explain over, like we just released my brother's first book. I helped him write it. We're still shipping out to backers because we're waiting on the other cover to get finalized, but we are shipping out, so people should be seeing stuff hitting their mail soon. But yeah, so once you get this done, all that work, money, and effort that I was talking about, now you got to work like 4 times as hard, because you got to sell them. If like nobody wants to, like if you're using Kickstarter and you get funded, you don't want to just get funded and then not be able to do anything else with books. So it's like selling them at shows, selling them online. You got to get out there and try to move the product. So that's the last part. And I learned that when I did my first 2 children's books. Went to this seminar, and that was the first thing they said is if you have one book, you're a guy that wrote a book. You're not an author until you have like multiple titles. It's our multiple books. And then the other thing was, the hardest part is after you get it done, the work that you put in, because you can have a great product, but if people can't, have no way of stumbling onto it, then it's just going to sit there.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So like what can you talk a little bit from your perspective, like what are the kind of like the ups and downs of conventions and online distribution, and like what which one tends to work out better for you, that kind of thing?
Online is still good. It used to be way better when you could really maximize off of the ads and stuff, like the social media ads. It's different now. I feel like they put blocks and limits on the stuff. I used to if I needed like a few $1,000s, I knew exactly how much money to put in, drop it, release the ad to the world. So online is still cool though. Word of mouth is great. And that's where it comes in. You want to be, everybody, this sounds basic, but you want to make sure that you have a product that people are going to enjoy. Like because what happens is people read and they're like, oh, this is dope. Let me tell such and such,
Mm-hmm.
And word of mouth is like some of the best advertising, you can get. So, but with that, our job as creators isn't just to create. It's like to create something that people are going to want to read the next one. They're going to want to be engaged with what you're doing. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, word of mouth is really, really, really important.
yeah. And then as far as conventions go, like our goal is always to not lose money, but we like to make a good amount of money when we go to conventions. But you have to, like, depending on what type of capital you have and what type of freedom you have, like early on, you definitely should be kind of picking and choosing, like shows, the ones where you feel like you have a chance to actually bring some money back. Nothing's ever guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, you got to get out there, right? Like, I had a few copies of this for Emerald City a couple weeks ago. The printer just was gave me some comps while they're waiting for the main, batch to come through. And so it's like I just put this on the table. I want to see, people's reaction, with the other books that I have on the table. It's like, you want to get that, like that kind of flow to understand, do people gravitate towards this? If this is on a shelf somewhere, are people going to pass it right by? Or, so it's good to get out and kind of test and see what the initial response is to, the books or whatever you're creating.
Yeah. So like at this point in your career, you've published and created and published a whole bunch of different books. Which one would you say that you're the most proud of?
I don't know. This is
That's probably hard.
This is like, what kid are you most proud of? Like, I don't know. I feel like they're all their own separate thing, and so it's like my thing is I don't want to put anything out that I'm embarrassed or ashamed of. So I scrutinized heavily, and even I can look back and say, okay, I'm better now than I was maybe then, but still I want to, put out decent stuff. So I can't really say, they're all different, Tuskegee Heirs I'm doing with Marcus, and, that's largely responsible for, having us where we are today.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, like the money that we're making, all that good stuff. But then like the Search for Sadiqah, it's like my own child. And I had artists help, like do the art, don't get me wrong. But, so I really like that one. But all of them, like my brother had this story, the story of Solace. He had this idea for like 13 years.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get it done, and, stuff kept happening. And artists, we had an artist that I think he did like 19 pages and then disappeared from the face of the earth. And his style was like the kind of style where you couldn't really find anybody to match it. And I didn't like it anyway. So it was like, I don't know, we got to start all over. So right. I'm happy for this one because I know how hard and how long and all the things that he's been through, in the process of trying to get this done. So I don't know. I like everything. I'm proud of y'all. Proud, like just to be able to, like when it's to the point, I'm not there yet. Like I know people that it's like, oh, it's normal. I just did another book, blah, blah, blah. I'm not there yet, but I am, in that space where it's like you're sitting and looking at all this stuff. And it's like, oh, there's a lot of stuff starting to compile up, Right. So I'm happy in that area, definitely.
That's awesome. So can you tell people especially those who maybe missed the whole story of Solid's campaign. Tell us about like what the story's about and kind of um, how you and your brother worked together and how all that came about.
So I'm probably gonna butcher it. He does this way better than me, but it's like a dystopian type of world, like an alternate world, not Earth, and there's like I don't like. I guess some people are saying horror, but it's not really horror. But there are like supernatural elements to it. It's got like a heavy like this would be an anime like if we did animation because it's got like heavy anime influence, and it's a young kid Amias who's basically we think at this point things will change, but we think he's cursed with this ability to like harness these lost souls. But when the souls actually manifest, bad things happen. So it's not, it's like he can't control it at all, which means he's had like a pretty terrible life. And him and his sister, Anuke, are on the run. And, jeez, I'm trying to open up a good page. We got Damon. Well, they're good pages. Don't get me wrong, but my friend Damon Hampton he's from the Milestone Initiative as well.
Oh, dope.
And he's the artist that we got to, go crazy in here. So pretty good, pretty fun story. This is like the initial issue. And the crazy part is my brother has so much written that we could do this book forever probably without having to create any new material.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah. It's so much. He's like, did you get to page, 400 something? Nah, man, but I trust you, and I believe what you're saying right now. He's like, cool, because that's the page where Mice is gonna play. I'm like, cool. So that's one of my goals, is to get it to the point where we're able to just keep producing over and over.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely a great place to be coming from, especially on the Kickstarter platform. Like for people who serialize their series, using crowdfunding.
Mm-hmm.
The more you got done beforehand, the better.
Right. And yeah, we it's been pretty cool. I'm excited for more people to get their hands on the books. I just sent out like a boatload yesterday. Like I said, depending on what tier you order, and I gotta send a thing out, but depending on what tier you ordered, we are waiting for one of the files to get cleaned up for the alternate cover.
Gotcha.
And then we'll be able to like get everything out.
Cool. So we got a question from Harold Pete.
I know that guy.
What books are in the plans for Greg in the future?
So I think we're going to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
We have this Little Rock Files we're gearing up for a campaign with Fair Square Comics. If you got Noir is the New Black, we did the story Ousley, and I like to be prepared with my visuals. And then in Mutiny, which is a Fair Square magazine, we did the second issue. So this first part I did with Marcus Williams, and then the next part was done with Quinn McGowan, and Quinn's going to do the next 36 pages. So in total, it'll be like a 48-page book. I thought I had one up here, but I do not. I know exactly where that magazine is too. Downstairs.
I know. I was looking for my copy of Noir is the New Black. I was like, dang it, where did it go? It's in here somewhere.
So so we have that. We're currently pitching Sadiqah for like a major publishing deal.
Yes.
Of course, if I can get a good chunk of money coming up pretty soon, then I'll probably just go ahead and produce it because I've been waiting a while. And then I have a was it an 8-pager coming out in the DC Comics New Talent Showcase. It'll be at the end of May. Yeah, like May 30th, I think.
Sweet.
And I have an 8-pager in there for the Milestone Initiative.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited, super excited about that.
So is that going to be like a compilation of all the different creatives that were in
Yeah.
it?
So they took 12 artists and 12 writers, and so it'll be 12. Like they paired us, So
Cool.
they gave me an artist, paired everybody, and so they're supposed to be producing all 12 of our stories will be in that anthology.
Nice. So okay, so May, I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that. For sure. Alrighty, let's see. Lonnie says, I'm looking forward to my reward. Me too.
Yes. Like I said, I just got the next batch of books. Well, I don't have them. I'm picking them up in the morning. They're finished, but it was too late tonight for me to get over there. So we plan on shooting some more out this weekend.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. I know I wanted to ask about. Oh yeah, can we talk about Swim Kelly Swim? So Kelly is your brother?
Yeah, actually,
is Kelly the one who wrote Story of Solace?
Yeah. So with that, I helped him write it. So, but it's his story.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be clear because people are like, "You wrote." I'm like, I helped him, but it's his story. So basically, it's like, tell me everything you want, and then we'll work together to put it together. So
nice.
Yeah, and Kelly is my brother. He's the Swim Kelly Swim, and with that one, because I have been yelled at a couple times. So some stuff I sent out an update. If you didn't see it, I had some issues with formatting and to where basically certain stuff had to be done over. Not the art, but just the way it was formatted.
Gotcha.
And so with that, it was everything was getting jumbled up. So talking with my agent and with some other people, they were maybe move it back because it would be more impactful if it was released, closer to the summertime than it was in December because it's about women, of course. So art is done, script is done, even though I keep tinkering here and there because I'm basically we're gonna be trying to get it printed next month.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still coming. I'm a little bit frustrated. I forgot that printers, in a lot of cases, printers kind of shut down towards the end of the year because they're so jammed up. And so that was my first thing. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be a couple of months before we can get you on the dock." I'm like, but trying to get affordable printing to where I'm making some money off the book,
right,
is important. So yeah.
So do you use all domestic printers or do you go overseas at all?
A little bit. We got these guys in Canada, but recently they changed up their thing, so they're really just focusing on graphic novels. And then we tried this dude in China. I'm not really. It's not nothing against China. It's just this particular guy. I didn't like the way the books were packaged.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot. So I'm always open if you know anybody, because you know as well as I do. It's I don't mind paying, but I want the quality to be
on par with that. Yeah.
Right.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, for the children's books, just because I like hardcover for that, so that I definitely go overseas. Because printing in the US is 4 to 5 times as much what I pay.
Well, you tell me. send me a message so I can know who you got, because
Yeah.
might speed up my process.
Yeah. The only thing is that like you gotta wait for freight. I mean, you
Wait.
can pay more, right? Like and have it shipped air, but it's a lot. Depending on how much you order, right? But the one that I use, they have a 1,000 minimum though. So that's the only thing. That's a lot of books. But I know you move a lot of books. So not everybody can do that. But it just kind of depends on like what your long-term.
How much do they do per copy?
I'm trying to remember what it was on the
It's gonna
last
be based
one.
by pages and all that.
Yeah, it's so mine is 36. Yeah, that one. Shadows of the Ancient. Yay. That one's 36. I think I paid probably like 3 something per copy.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yes, tell me these people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send you. Yeah, and they're I didn't have issues with their timeline. On that particular book, it got stuck in customs for like 6 weeks or some crap. So that's why I was late to the backers on that one. It wasn't super late.
Yeah, I think if I have to, I'll probably get like for the backers, I'll get like a smaller run here.
Mm-hmm.
For the mass production.
Yeah. Yeah, I think who was it? I know a couple people use Mix'em, but their hardcover costs it's like $11 a copy. $10.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you even sell a book?
It's a lot. It's a lot. Not enough room for us to make our money.
No.
But yeah, so trade-offs. But I'm willing to wait. I have different goals though. Like it's not, I'm not in a rush to get to the market. I'm more like creating a quality product and then like having it be evergreen. So
yeah, and that's one of my big, like I still sell my old children's books.
Mm-hmm.
These are like 10 years old.
Yep.
And I still sell the crap ton of them. So it's like I'm with you. It's like you want that. I want that evergreen, like that, where people, it doesn't age poorly, like all that good stuff. And the art is great. So
yes,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out because from what I seen in the updates that you shared, it was definitely a fun book. Yeah. And of course, like swimming is, like a deeper topic for people of color, right? It's not just let's just go swimming,
right?
No, there's a lot of historical.
One of the things that was messing me up with it was that like in the nature of storytelling, the culmination, like the rise, like I was like, do I want a threat in this book? Like, but then at the same time, I'm like, it's, in the book, I'm trying to project that if you're prepared and you understand what you're doing, you believe in yourself, then you can conquer this, So I was like, nah, I'm not going to have like that threat, that moment of, like something that would bring anxiety to anybody, that's doesn't know how to swim. You know what I mean? So that was one of the tricky parts. I was like, I feel like I need another page. But then I argue with myself to the point where I was like, no, you know what you're doing. So
yeah, it's funny because even in my book, Shadows, like I introduced the villain and I was like, do I want to do this? I don't want kids to be scared of going in the water.
Right. Right. So it's like you have to kind of, it's like, what if, I had to, because I can get really bad sometimes with like just sitting and overthinking like the smallest details. And so I'm like, because after I get it all laid out, I'm like, yeah, there's not that one, huge momentous part where, but I was like, nah, I don't need that right now. So I think it came out pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hello, Dana.
Hi, Dana.
He I was having
like
computer issues.
It's all good. The computer always wants to act up when we about to come on the show.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
with
we were.
Greg, I got to listen to a little bit as I was trying to wait for my computer to introduce a little bit with the Nora's about your contribution
Is she
to that, and
is she
you're
freezing
getting
up for you,
ready
or is
to
this my?
have
Yeah, it's
that
choppy.
more into its own
No,
story.
I'm trying to mouth with her. Danny, you're moving very slow.
it's probably her computer. I'm not all the way woken up yet.
But I think you were saying, talk about the like moving this story, like how it originated with Nora's The New Black, and did she freeze again?
Yeah. Sis, come
I'll
back.
just try to tell the story while Dana gets herself together. But so like when they reached out for Nora's The New Black, I started laughing because I was like, I got a story, because I had already been kind of piecing this story Ousley together. So you guys know, I'm a huge, history fan. And so I study up on all kinds of stuff. So I learned about there's actually a great show on right now called Snowfall that's covering some of these topics. But when I was in college, I learned about the CIA involvement with bringing drugs into, California to help the Contras win the war in Nicaragua. And so they basically had like a triangle. They were working with, the the people in the Middle East to bring drugs. So they were basically helping the Contras fund their war without the United States technically giving money. So, it's like with Snowfall, which they took, basically based the main character off of Freeway Ricky Ross. Are you guys familiar with him? So the rapper Rick Ross? Yeah, he basically took his name from Freeway Ricky Ross, who's a young dude in California who ended up becoming like this huge drug dealer, like introducing crack into the Los Angeles area. And, later you find out that Ricky Ross, like the guy that he was getting the cocaine from was a CIA operative that was, working with, Nicaragua or whatever. So, they flooded, the streets, but they didn't just do California. And that's one of the, like now, I guess more people understand about it happening in Los Angeles, but it also happened in Arkansas. It happened in Chicago. Like they had these, different places where the stuff was set up. So that's what my story is based on. It's totally fictional. It's based on a detective who recently gets transferred to like Little Rock, and he's kind of like a high-ranking, but he's a young, black man in the 80s, in like 1988 in Little Rock, Arkansas. And so this young girl that you come to find out he has, ties to, she's basically going to help him, try to help him solve a murder, which is basically going to uncover like all kinds of extra, like corruption, where are these drugs coming from? It's really interesting stuff, man. Tom Cruise made a movie where he played Barry Seal, who was an actual smuggler for the CIA. And so he was flying into Louisiana, but then they had him just keep going So they basically set him up shop in Arkansas and everything. And there's all kinds of stuff. Like Bill Clinton was the governor at the time. Bill Clinton's brother was like arrested and in prison for drug trafficking while his brother was the governor. Like there's a lot of like real stuff that was going on. And I know you guys remember like Banging in Little Rock, all that stuff, right? That, the series that was on HBO. So that was kind of like a residual effect from the stuff that had happened a few years before. So that's what it basically comes down to. But I guess I'm in love with it so much because we're like channeling, like, see, I wish I had the right one, because the second chapter, you can see the Jerry curls and, like we're channeling the 80s. So like the late 80s. So you're talking about the fashion, we're talking about the music. Is that it? American Made? I said it wrong, didn't I? Thank you, Facebook user. But yeah, so we're channeling like all this stuff that was great when I was like early teen. The music, the hairstyles, like all this different stuff. Quinn, if you guys familiar with Quinn McGowan, like wonderful illustrator, super hype. Like I just by chance asked him, he was saying he put up a thing saying he had like some commission slots open, and then before I know it, he's like working on the second chapter of the book, and come to find out, like his father was actually a detective in Memphis, like, so it's like this stuff. And Memphis isn't that far for people that don't know geography that good.
Geography challenged.
Yeah, Memphis, it's like kind of the same region, and so like he was passionate, and and we're both like super hip hop fans, so it was just like it was magic as soon as we started. And then I was talking with Fabrice. You guys know Fabrice Sapolsky, the owner of Fair Square Comics. And I was talking like, I want to pitch some stuff to you. And he was like, well, what are you doing with Ousley? And I was like, what would you want to do? And so we sat down and talked. So that's where we're at, getting ready to drop the first. And it's going to be like 48 pages. So what you'll get is like a full, almost think of it like a TV episode. You'll get like a full episode, but it's serial. So it's going to obviously lead right into the next, issue.
That's awesome. Do you have a sense for when you guys are going to drop that on Kickstarter?
So the goal is, I think we just got approval, but we are gonna kind of try to drum up a little bit of publicity, try to get 100, 150 people to sign up for the notify link before we drop it, because it's the goal is that we get enough to where the creators can get paid up front, for the work. And then, so yeah, we want to try to make sure we have a decent amount of following first.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know I've seen some creators do it where they drop the preview link and then they say like, once we hit whatever, let's say it's 150, like then we're gonna hit launch, so. Yeah,
so that we haven't come up with like a hard, a hard line just yet, but it's in that same kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you all should have no problems.
Well, the thing about it is like, it's really hard now, man. Kickstarter is not as easy as it was, a few years ago. social media, they do a really good job of making sure people can't see when you're sharing and stuff. And there's so many people now doing it, using it, that I want watered down is not the word, but it's almost like the other day I looked up and I was like, why do I have not so much money in my account right now? And then I go in and look at the detail and it's like, oh, because like 5 Kickstarters that I backed last month all went through at the same time,
So true.
Like, it's not as easy. Like my last couple of Kickstarters, I had to work.
Yeah.
Well, no, Solus I did. The children's book, I had to work. I had to work.
I did too. Yeah.
This is some bull. I ain't supposed to be having to work.
Yeah, I mean, you always got to work at Kickstarter, but yeah, the last one felt harder than usual for sure. And I don't think it was just us. Like I am in a couple of creator groups, and everybody who was on, they were like, "Is it just me, or is it like super hard this round?" So I don't know if it was like the time of year or just like numbers of projects on the platform and all of that. But I mean, I think that's why it's important for creators to leverage, especially ones who use the platform often, but leverage like the email addresses of your backers and the backer updates, like using those things that at least Kickstarter's automatically like kicking notifications for you to do those too. Let's see. So Dana wants to ask the question that everybody's going to ask. When will we see the next Tuskegee Heirs issue?
So what we're going to see next, and we were trying to get it for the end of this month, but it's now probably going to be the end of May. But we're going to be putting out, and we've talked about it for a while, this Timelines book. It'll have like 3, like individual stories, like 8 to 10 page books. But it's just a little bit of something to kind of develop the character. Like one of the challenges when you have so many main characters like Tuskegee is that people are like, nobody gets to know anybody fully, right? So like Gina, we've been sad because Gina, we've had cosplayers and people love her, but she's barely had any run. So we have like a 6-page story with her in it. And it's cool. That one's already completed. And just to give you a little bit more so you can see more about her, we have a Genesis story that kind of fills in some of the blanks from issue 1. And then we're working on a Colonel Mars, like a young Colonel Mars story. Like, so we'll be doing that, but then we're also going to be simultaneously trying to get issues 5 and 6 done. Our goal is to be working on those at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes it'd be tough.
Yeah, we're working on this animation, like a cinematic short right now, and so that kind of took some of the time that we should have been, using for the book. But we definitely got to go back. We get yelled at a lot for that one too. Good, passionate yells too. Like, come on.
And well, that's the kind you want because that means that people love it.
Right.
But yeah, I feel your pain too because my story has 4 kids. 2 of them are like the main ones, but I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna get to this point where people are gonna be like, but what's the backstory? What?
Right.
Tell me more about the character.
So we're basically gonna be using different artists to bring those stories to life too.
Oh, nice.
So give you a little change up in what you've been seeing.
That's cool. Oh, you could do like this whole thing where like, I mean, I don't know, this is hard to line up, but like where you have like one artist dedicated to each character so that like if people see that art, it's like, oh, that's so and so story, you know.
Yeah. So we're moving. We just got the next artist. We don't want to announce it just yet because we don't want people getting too feral. But yeah, we just got our Colonel Mars artist locked up, so
nice.
It's gonna be fun.
It's exciting. So Dana said her 9-year-old niece needs to know, when is the next Search for Sadiqah coming to Kickstarter, because she quotes, her soul is ready.
So that's the thing with that one. We're trying to get like a publishing deal.
Oh, that's right.
We just got everything together to where we can start pitching. It took a while. The cool stuff, I haven't announced it formally yet, but so in one way it's sad because my artist Shannon Sapenter, he wasn't able to keep going on the book. No bad reasons. It was just, like time consuming. Mm-hmm. But I did another one of the Milestone artists, Taya Ankam. I talked to her about it and she was like, yes. And so the cool thing is she has a twin sister, Tahila, and they both draw good. Uh-oh. And we're here. So they're working on, they're with me on this next iteration of Sadiqah. We've already got like 8 pages. We're going to actually be showing a couple of those pages pretty soon. Because, when you're doing the pitch process, you got to have sample pages and sample script and blah, 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 blah. So, so I have artists and we're working, but we're trying to get that deal. So please bear with me a little.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on, y'all. It's just hearing us go back and forth between the properties. I'm like, as the writer, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I got there's another thing I'm working on. I can't tell you guys just yet, but it's pretty huge. And then yesterday, I just got offered something else. So, but I mean, we got to make sure the paperwork and all that stuff is cool.
Right.
But both of these things are like, it's crazy. Both of these things are like, if you would have told me when I was 7 years old that I would be working on these things, I would like pepper spray you and call you a liar. Like, not possible. There's no way. Like, I didn't even, how there are certain things where, when people say, if you could write such and such, and the kind of people, but it's based off of like, would they let me write such and such, I never even thought that I would be able to write these guys. So that's cool.
Awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait till you can say what it is. I'm sure it'll be a while if it goes like any of the other ones.
Well, one of them's signed and we're already I've already signed and we're already working. Nice. They haven't said that I'm allowed to say anything yet. So.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
And the other one is, still in the talking stage.
Yep. I feel you there. That's exciting. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Those pinch me moments.
It's crazy.
It's like Greg Elise when he when I saw he got the Scholastic joint, I was like, oh my God. Scholastic is like, for me, that's like, oh my God, if I could write something for them. Right. I was in their book fairs faithfully because like you in Idaho, me in the islands, like there's nothing, like there's a movie theater, yeah, okay, but like other than that, you read and you self-entertain. And so like books was like my places, like, oh, let's go jump into another world, so I saved all my pennies for a little Scholastic book fair. Went in there so excited.
Man, yeah, that's I'm trying to get. I was telling Greg, I was like, dude, this is like what dreams are made of, man. Like, I'm trying to, holler at them. Hopefully they'll look out for your boy.
Yeah. So I heard you mention that like you have an agent. When did you at what point is for independent creator who's kind of doing it on their own, but then obviously, like leveling up, that's what we all hope. At what point did you figure out like, hey, I need an agent now so that I can focus more on writing and creating?
I didn't I was just like doing my thing, and I had I had a few approach me, and so I just kind of like picked the one I felt was best aligned for what I was trying to do. So I think that's the I don't know, because I know like from talking to people that's not how it normally happens. I guess mine, the one that I picked, like she came to New York Comic-Con and just bought like everything on the table, and then reached out to me like a month later and was like, hey, I bought your books, I read them, and do you have an agent? That kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So now I think I'm still learning more about the process. I think there's a way that you can like basically query and look for agents. But I guess my thing is there's so many people that are I don't know. I've been doing this a long time, and there's a lot of, I guess, hacks. It's the best the best way I can say it. There's so many hacks that are like they can't give you what they're promising. You know what I'm saying? They really don't. It's like they're kind of looking at you and depending on you to do, so they can have anything done or whatever. Right. So you just got to really be careful, because it's like you're signing contracts with people for a certain length of time, and it could be like a whole waste. Like you sign a year contract and nothing happens. So it's like all agents ain't good agents. You know what I mean? Right. My mind state always is, and then the other part is, you don't want anybody where you're having to pay anything. Like, the only way an agent, is going to get money is if they get you money. That's how it's supposed to work. So that's kind of a way, like if somebody's like, hey, you send us this much and we'll represent you, like, don't do that. That's already starting off bad. Right. But my goal is always like, let me see what you've done, Yeah. Like, have you seen somebody like me and gotten me jobs, or are you just like hopeful, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed? So that's huge. But it's not like a science. Like I've had several over the last year or so. I've had like several agents reach out to me, and I'm like, dang, why ain't everybody reach out to me in the beginning? Like, but it's kind of what it is. I don't know if I said anything of any type of substance.
No, I mean, yeah, that was really great advice. And I think it aligns with a lot of what I've heard from other creators too. It's not, there's no perfect time for that to happen, but like I think what I just try to focus on is creating great work, and that
and that's what it really is. Like they'll come, but that the part that you can't control is like I've had, because we get a lot of they're like piranhas, like people that come after Tuskegee Heirs. Yeah. Like no matter how many times we tell you we're not looking for a publisher, but they just like, hey. And so it's like you need to see, are they here because you got a property that they want to capitalize off of, or are they here to actually represent you, like to be on, to do what's best for you and your career, so.
Yeah, that's great advice. One last question before we roll off from Harold.
Dang.
Does your agent focus more on children's books or comics, or is it both?
It's so right now, like, you know, if you're looking for like the mainstream publishing, they're looking for graphic novels and always children's books. So it's, you know, that's typically what that focus is. But the contract I'm in, like, it's also TV, you know, animation, movie, like all of the above.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, that's the last gem you're getting, y'all. Thank you so much. Facebook, you said protect the Tuskegee Air project at all costs. That's right. That's like the
we will, Facebook user. We're not. I wish I knew that was, but no, that's like we're meeting on it. We just had another meeting on it yesterday. Excited about the stuff that we have coming, as well as the little animation thing that should be pretty fun.
Yeah, that's dope. Alrighty. Well, your success is no surprise to us. And we definitely, are happy for you and continue to celebrate and support, everything that you're doing. I don't know which project I'm most excited about. Just all of it. Just all of it.
I don't even have, like, I'm really excited for Ousley. Like I said, we're gonna do some fun things with it. Cedric, what's up, Cedric? So yeah, we're really excited about Ousley, but then the DC stuff. I'm interested to see like how the story that I did an Icon story that's coming out at the end of May, and so I want to see, interested in seeing, what people think of that. And then the other DC thing I'm super hugely excited about, but that's the one I can't really, say just yet.
Yeah.
Then this new stuff too. So I don't even know what excitement is anymore. I just want to get this stuff out, man. Like I got to meet Rodney Barnes a few weeks ago.
Nice.
This thing in LA. And I was just like, dude, how? Like, if you see all the stuff he's working on, like Philadelphia, he's got the Blackula, he's got another comic, he's got TV shows. Like, it's just so much stuff. I'm like, how? And because I want to be like that, but how?
It's gonna happen. You're gonna be there right there too.
I don't know, man. That dude he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. He's like some kind of computer or something that just, and to be doing so much stuff and it be so good,
Somebody's out there thinking the same thing about you. I'm gonna just put it out there. Because you gotta start with somewhere and everybody has their journey and it's all relative after a while, like I don't know if you feel it, but like even after you successfully finish a project, you're like, okay, that's still not good enough. Like what?
What's next? It's like, I just made a basket. Now I need to go score some more. Like, so.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Well, one last time, give folks where can they find you online? Socials, all that good.
Greg Burnham on the Facebook. Greg _Burnham 7 on Instagram. And then I think I'm going to change it right now. I think it's Greg Burnham Book on Twitter, which I'm barely on. But follow me. I was supposed to have some links for y'all if you wanted to, sign up to be notified. Definitely we'll have that coming out. So if you don't follow me already, please follow me and like keep up. Like I'm the Little Rock Files Ousley story. It's really dear to me. I even was influenced by certain things that happened, like living where I lived in my early teens. We started losing friends like in middle school, like kids getting shot and losing lives. So it's like I'm kind of paying homage to those times and, just some of the stuff that, went on during those times. So it's like there's a lot of love and a lot of heart and soul in this project. And also, speaking for victims of like these horrendous, world crimes that our government has portrayed. So I'm really excited to get the story out. And like I said, it's tons of love, man. We got Jerry curls in the books. So excited about that. It's just good. It's good all together.
Awesome. Well, we are definitely looking forward to it. Once you get your links and stuff, let us know and we'll help you share it out to our audience and give you a shout out on our future episodes so folks can help find your campaign and get you the funding that you need to be successful with it. So as always, thank you so much for being a part of our show. Folks, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, subscribe to the Moana Nui Podcast here on Agents of Geekdom. And stay tuned for our next show coming up at 8:30 tonight. We're switching gears a little bit into professional and career development. We're going to talk a little bit about race and gender intersectionality with Sue Ann Hong over with the Center for Asian Pacific American Women, or CAPA. And we're excited to have that panel. So with that said, on behalf of me and Dana, who is still having technical difficulties, thank you guys so much for joining the show. Greg, thanks again. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. Alrighty, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then. When they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand,
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.